The Joe Rogan Experience.
Dan, I wonder when they started doing drug tests. Like, when did they first start drug testing
I think 80s.
employees?
I don't think they did it in the 70s. You know, I don't think so.
No, they probably didn't have drug tests back then.
Yeah.
You know? Back then, I bet Coke was real Coke. You got Coke, I bet it was clean.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even cut
Now
it.
you can't fucking, can't touch it.
What does it say here? President Ronald Reagan. Workplace drug testing started off after President Ronald Reagan required it for federal employees in 1986. And it peaked during the drug war of the 1990s. Fucking Reagan.
86.
Yeah.
He probably saw Daryl Strawberry, Doc Good, and he's like, enough of this shit. That was the first steroids of sports, was the Coke of sports, because they all did it.
Right, well, I get baseball players, apparently, they all like to do amphetamines,
That was
right?
going to say, yeah, that was the first one.
Well, baseball players, that's probably one of the most performance-enhanced sports.
Yeah.
With all the fucking steroids and apparently they all like ADHD medication.
Yeah.
Something about it makes you focus.
And what it does is too is you play through injury. You don't feel the injury, so you have a little tear. So guys that were at the plate, if they had a little tear in their elbow or shoulder, didn't.
Wow.
It didn't matter. And their hand-eye coordination was. That's why Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he did it. Then he saw everybody doing it, and then he did it again. I was sitting courtside Knicks. I got hammered at the Knicks. I'm good friends. Pete Davidson's a good friend of mine, and he was at SNL. And he goes, "Dude, come down. We got the ticket." And I'm a diehard Knicks, because I'm a Yankees Giants, but I've won with them. My problem child is the Knicks, and I got my son into it and shit. And we go down, and I'm sitting next to this guy, and he's got his hair slicked back, and everybody's coming up to him, and he's got the beard, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm drinking vodka. They just pour vodkas, and I'm fucking hammered courtside. And this guy, and I don't know who this guy is. So at halftime, they take you back to where everybody's drinking and eating. So finally, they're like, yeah, the guy you're sitting next to is the Mets, the new manager of the Mets. It's Mickey Callaway. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's who it is. So we just start talking. We're shooting the shit and everything. And I go, all right, and I'm hammered now. So now I like all of the what you shouldn't do, I'm doing. Yeah, I go, can I ask you a question? He goes, please, please. He was a nice guy. I go, best baseball. He was, before he was a Mets manager, he was a pitching coach for the Indians. And I go, now the Guardians, which is fucking awful name. But he said, I go, who's the best baseball player you've ever seen live in all of the years you've been in baseball? And he just leans back and he goes, oof. And then he just goes, oh, Barry Bonds. He goes, nobody in history made a pitcher pay for a mistake more. He goes, if a pitcher made one fucking mistake by an inch, over. So imagine that guy on roids.
And he was.
Imagine,
yeah, and he was.
But he was that guy. He was that guy before, and then he was on it.
Right.
So now there's Barry Bonds, monster Barry Bonds, no injuries, no, nothing's gonna stop him. Hand-eye coordination better, more power. That guy.
Yeah, I mean, how many? They all did it, right? Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, they were all on the sauce.
You could kind of look at the ones that did a certain way because they were square. I was in a fucking elevator with Gary Sheffield. He was like a book dresser. He was like a fucking, he was just there. You could tell that these guys were just different.
I met Ken Seiko in 1986. I was a fitness trainer at the Boston Athletic Club. I'd like teach people how to lift weights and shit. And Jose Canseco came in like the peak of his popularity. He was a fucking giant. Yeah. He was so big. I couldn't believe how big he was. Like I knew he was, you see him on TV, he's an athlete, but you see him in real life, he's like 260 pounds. He was fucking huge.
Yeah, gigantic. Actually, I don't know if Sheffield did it, but he looked like that. I don't know who was the big, then the guys that denied it in front of Congress.
Oh, what happens with them? Did they go to jail for that?
You know what's funny? Everybody that admitted it was like, okay. But the guys that were like, remember Rafael Palmeiro? He goes, he fucking like pointed at the guy. He goes, I never. And like he did.
The problem with that is if you lie about something like that so emphatically, no one's ever going to believe you again. Like if you get in an argument with your wife. I was with Tommy. We went to the fucking game. I drove straight home. I got stuck in traffic.
Yep, that's the point.
Pointing. Look at him.
Yeah.
He looks like he's on roids right there. That's probably why he's pointing. Oh, there's a bobblehead doll of him pointing.
and what?
I've never used steroids. Period.
Mark McGwire did. Mark McGwire did this one. He just goes. They go, Mark, did you use steroids in this? And he just goes, I'm not here to talk about the past. I'm here to talk about the future. And that was his way of just being like, let's clean the game up.
Nice.
Yeah.
After I've made my money, let's clean the game up. Let's bring everybody's home runs down to a normal, manageable level.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
My wife knows that I'm lying, dude. My wife and I have been together for fucking almost 20 years and married almost 15. And when she has me dead to rights, she just looks and we both know.
Well, don't do steroids in front of her then.
No.
Or don't lie about them.
No.
Those guys, like, if you think about it, they made baseball more interesting, though. Like, it's so stupid that they busted them for that. They should have been just like, everybody shut the fuck up. Everybody shut the fuck up.
It brought baseball back.
But why did they make a big deal out of it? Who gives a shit if they're doing steroids?
I just think when it goes from 40 home runs is a good season to 90, it's just like...
People are getting better. Cars are getting faster. Now cell phones.
Why did it go to Congress, though? It's pretty weird. It went all the way to
I think it shouldn't go to...
Because baseball's our national game. That's why. Because, like, if that happened with, like, pick a sport, darts. You think anybody give a fuck? Dart players are doing roids. You know, bring them to Congress.
Fucking bocce ball players.
Yeah. I mean, like, why is it that it's got to be that baseball's a national sport? I don't think they would have done that with anything else. They definitely would have done it with football because they know everybody's juiced up on football.